I'll introduce you first so I don't.
Great.
Yeah. Welcome from California. Now you just moved to Fort Lauderdale?
Palm Beach.
Palm Beach. Okay.
Close.
Close. Okay.
Close.
Very close. Welcome aboard. This is your
Thank
first
you.
time here. I appreciate it. You bring a lot of expertise. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Sal, and thank you, Jason, and thank you to the team at Owwll for this incredible opportunity. And so, first and foremost, I'm an FAU alum. Go Owls! And very, very happy to be here,
Wow.
especially with this.
I didn't know
This
that. No wonder why you're
partnership.
so eager. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm so happy about this,
Very cool.
and love contributing to my alma mater. Happy that that's the case with this, and so also I am a next gen impact investor, philanthropist, and social entrepreneur. I am the founder of two companies. One is called Lightspace, and the other is called Peace Train. At Lightspace, we're focused on regenerative real estate and building that global ecosystem. And with the Peace Train, we're focused on achieving world peace and building that global ecosystem of artists, creators, and peace leaders. So I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. I'm very passionate about impact investing, and I'm very happy to be here and contribute to this amazing community.
Maryn, thank you so much. That's amazing, and you're going to fit in just perfectly here with that background.
Thank
To
you.
my left or your right is the Honorable James Korman from Philadelphia, but he lives in Brickell, near me actually. James Korman, welcome back. I think this is your third time. We're going to give you a special jacket after number 5.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Always a pleasure.
Tell us a little about yourself, James.
I'm a 4th generation family office with the 5th generation. My kids are coming behind me. So real estate is our business. We've been in all the different real estate food groups. I focus on apartments, and I've done it for a very long time, and very proud of that. And I've also been involved with some really cool charitable work very cool charitable work that I'm working on for foster kids. So trying to give back as well, like Maryn.
Very good. That's very good. And we've gone into several of those initiatives and fundraising galas together, so it's been a lot of fun.
Yep.
Going up between Miami and Palm Beach.
Yeah. So my 90-year-old mother has got me on the Palm Beach black tie circuit. So
I join you anytime. We spent many times day galas and night galas. Yeah.
Yep. Any team you're on, Sal, I would like to be on as well.
Wow. I appreciate that. Speaking of teams, Kevin Cox, Director of Entrepreneurship here at FAU. It's a pleasure and a privilege, sir, to have you here, the professor. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm pleased to be here. And Sal's right. I oversee the entrepreneurship programs at Florida Atlantic University, which are really spinning. I mean, we had more than 70 founders out on campus this week to kick off our boot camp educational program. So it's really just an incredible time for growth, expansion, more ventures, more startups, and hopefully you enjoy the ones you hear from today.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, we've been receiving some good news lately coming from that. So I can't wait to see how it actually works. We're in the middle of a golden age right now. I think, I'm biased because we are a SpaceX investor, but I think Musk is going to light the IPO market on fire, and everything else is just going to follow in suit. And there's lots of names that'll probably come out of that, like Stripe too, as well, will probably come out. One of the things we're looking at, but I think we're in a great time right now for entrepreneurship. There's a lot of mergers happening too, as well. A lot of smaller companies are, we're starting to see a lot more active activities in the capital markets, which is very enticing, especially for founders who want to exit, right? It's been kind of a little bit of a dry spell for a little bit, but now things are moving.
Yeah, absolutely agree. There's been a lot of capital tied up, and if we get some of those things over the threshold, things will, just like you said, hopefully break wide open on the funding side of things, because I know it's been a struggle working with so many founders in the very early stage, trying to get access to capital when some of these huge ventures are tying up. They're growing, they're doing great, but capital intensive, right?
Oh yeah, you got to feed the cow. That's what we said. We have some companies that have like a 250,000, some of the highest $350,000 a month burn rate. So I know what that's like, and it can be oppressive sometimes.
Yeah.
It can be oppressive sometimes. That's amazing, James. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say the family offices are really active right now, from what I can see, and
Yep.
they really stepped in at a time when the institutions really put their pencils down for a while. And when they put their pencils down, the family offices stepped in and were investing in, I knew, in a lot of real estate and other types of opportunities as well. So very exciting time.
No, it is an exciting time. Maryn?
Absolutely. I'd like to second that as well. I'm very active in family office circles globally, and family offices are very passionate about investing in entrepreneurs, and also with a social impact lens as well. So companies that are not only doing well, but doing good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Well, that's amazing. I think, the how many people are, Kevin, I mean, how many people are founders who are leveraging AI or leading with AI in their company?
I think they're all using it. You
Okay.
know, I talk to founders. Serial Founders is a great example, right? So we have our Adam Center for Entrepreneurship at Florida Atlantic University, named and endowed by Scott Adams, right? A serial entrepreneur. He established that way back in 2001. But I just saw him last week, and he was just astounded by how much progress he can make in his own new venture that may or may not, the venture itself may or may not be related to AI, but all the auxiliary stuff, the business plan, the marketing content, all stuff he'd have to hire out and get graphic designers. He's like, I can move at the speed of light these days without a big team on all those tangential things that every venture needs, but it's not really core to the business. That stuff has become very easy to accomplish.
Yeah.
I think it's really good for starting ideas. Like a lot of times you have a really good idea, but where you start is an impediment to getting it done. Now, what I really like the AI for is it's a really good starter. It might be, it might be full of mistakes or different nuances that need to be polished up, but the fact that it gets you started and gives you something to tweak instead of having to build it from the ground up is really, for an old guy like me, it's amazing, totally amazing.
And also for a young gal like me, it's amazing. And I also wanted to share about the different types of AI as well. That some are utilized for creation, and also others for deep research. So as an entrepreneur, it's really nice to be able to do market research at the speed of light and to just ask Claude, with the expert Claude, about different subject matters, and then be able to do the deep research and on that as well. So both creation and also market research. It's really incredible.
I'm at the point where I'm challenging the different AIs. I'm pitting them against each other. I'll have Claude pitted against ChatGPT and Grok, and this with the same assignment, and I see how they all come out, and then pick the one I like best, and then fill in with the ideas that came from the other two. So,
well, which one do you like the most?
I'm starting to like Claude.
Okay.
And the other two, it's really different. Sometimes it's ChatGPT is better.
Yeah.
Sometimes the other one's better. But
what I really love about ChatGPT is it remembers your projects. So I find, because I have all of the subjects of all of my projects and different things that I research and create. And so when I'm creating documents for particular projects, I can build upon that. So because ChatGPT remembers, but Claude doesn't remember. So it's interesting, just the different AIs for different things.
Yep.
And then also, of course, when building technology platforms, it's nice to be able to implement AI with multiple different capabilities to streamline these processes that historically have not been as streamlined and active.
An entrepreneur's dream.
Absolutely. It's a great time to be an entrepreneur in the world, and excited about all these FAU entrepreneurs. Very excited to speak with them.
I think we're going to take calls now. That's what producer Jason's telling us. I think right now we're going to start taking some calls. Use the app to come in to ask questions. We love it. You know, on about a year ago, over a year ago, my partner and I were invited to go out to Palo Alto to Stanford for an event that was hosted by Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn. And he said something to me or to us that I will never forget. And that is the AI that you use today is the worst AI you'll ever use. And man, as it seems like it's just been growing by leaps and bounds. And you know, even on the way here, I was able to use ChatGPT on my phone to send out some messages or clean up some stuff. It's really become consequential today for for a lot of people. And if you're not involved in it, I think it's just going to pass you by, right? Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
agree. That's one of the things I tell my students who are allowed to use it for class, right? Is that right now, I think it's more likely that rather than AI taking your entry level jobs, which some of that could happen,
Yeah.
most immediately, it's someone else who knows how to leverage AI. That's who's going to take your entry level job first and foremost.
Yeah.
So you need to understand how to use the tools, leverage the tools to your own benefit, in so many different capacities, and that's how you can really create some value and set yourself apart. You know, as we look towards the job market, I teach so many juniors and seniors who are just starting their career.
Yeah, I mean, it is functional. I mean, it is fundamental, I think, today for anything. You can't really just, I don't think there's really an excuse for not using it today.
I spoke to somebody the other day who said they're not using it and they're not going to use it. I just thought to myself, okay, that's what you're going to do. It's
How old is this person?
I would say 35.
Oh, wow. All right. So
Wow.
I'm like,
he's throwing it away.
they'll change their mind soon enough.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they will. They will. Do we have a caller coming in? I think so, maybe. I'm not sure. We will see. I'm not
Just
sure.
AI just makes everything so much easier. I
It
love
does.
that it's a tool and a resource. I think there's a lot of misinformation about it, that it's scary, that it's going to take people's jobs. And I think that, really with AI, that there's so much goodness, and also there's so much that we can utilize AI for that, what used to take several hours can now take several minutes. And also that, one of my very dear friends, Dekai, he wrote a book called Raising AI, with the premise he invented Google Translate. And
Oh,
so
wow.
the premise of this book is that, treating AI as our child. So that we are putting good things into the AI. And so I think that that's very important as well for everyone to think about is what are we teaching this AI? My AI is so kind and wonderful. And I have especially with ChatGPT, I have a whole dialogue and relationship with warmness and kindness. And I feel like that training AI with the best of us and the best of humanity is so important, especially right now.
It's going to remember you if you don't say please and thank you too, right?
Truly.
Allegedly.
So we see AI, and then we know Sal. You know, you're on top of the space sector, and space and AI. They've attracted a ton of capital.
Mhm.
But I wonder, what other sectors do you all see as emerging and attractive from an investment perspective, aside from space or AI?
You want to take that first?
Sure, I'm
Okay.
happy to. I see blockchain for practical purposes, for supply chain logistics, finance, and all types of systems that require transparency as well as mutable records. So I think there's crypto and then there's blockchain. So crypto is one of the components of blockchain, and the crypto as a whole deep dive. And also I see that blockchain systems for supply chain logistics and these systems, very, very important. So I'm very, very interested in that. And we see companies that are doing really well with that.
Yeah,
In the family office space.
little more practical than NFTs, huh?
Absolutely. And also NFTs for example, for deeds for real estate.
Hold on one moment. We have a caller coming in.
Yes.
Okay. This is great.
Yay.
Crashed. Oh no. All right. Maybe it'll come back. I think batteries and robotics are where things are going to go. That's
Oh yeah.
battery power. Like the more a battery can store, if that technology continues to move, because I think the biggest limiting factor is all going to be about power. Really, it's not energy but power. Right?
Yeah,
So,
I'd agree.
Completely agree.
And
Yeah.
across like all devices, I got onto this health thing, this Whoop, and it's just
That's
a
my friend Bill's
tiny
company.
little thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This thing,
what does
Last-
that do for you?
it monitors a whole bunch of stuff and tells me I don't sleep enough and then I work too hard. And it just
So it tells you what you don't
it
want to
just
hear.
keeps
Yeah.
telling me it's like go to bed earlier and relax a little more. And I'm like, all right, maybe another day. But no, it tracks a lot of cool stuff. But what's intriguing is the size. You wear it 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
It lasts for weeks.
My iWatch doesn't last that long.
No.
No.
And it beeps and buzzes at you. That's why I got this kind. It doesn't have a screen.
Okay.
I don't need another
No.
pinging me like on my hand. No.
No. I mean, I think it's like anxiety inducing. It started with the BlackBerry, and it was most, there was when the BlackBerry came out, it was seen as like a status symbol. But what happened is that it wound up ruining your life. We have a caller coming in. Welcome to Funding Fridays. You are live in front of a live streaming audience. What's your name? Hello and welcome.
My name's
I can't hear you. Can you say that again?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Name and where you're from.
My name's Dr. Jess Barnes, and I'm currently in Denver.
All right. Well, Denver. Okay. Very cool. Mile High City. What can
Yes,
we do for
it's
you, doctor?
60 degrees here.
Ooh.
So
same here, actually, in South Florida.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm calling to talk about my company RecPay.
RecPick?
REQPAY.
Okay.
Okay.
So I thought I'd talk for a few minutes and give you an overview, and then maybe you might have some questions. So
Sure. Please
get started.
go right ahead.
So imagine if Amazon had to manually compile invoices from thousands of suppliers into PDFs every month and get them notarized before sending off to the bank just to get paid. That's the construction industry in 2026. The entire $2.1 trillion US construction industry runs its most critical financial process using 1953 technology. And RecPay is automating this chaos. We have a patent-protected solution that's already generating overwhelming demand. Every single construction project requires monthly draw packages to release funds from the bank. And these are called AIA 702, 703 forms. And they're the industry standard since 1953. So typically on a $100 million construction project with about 45 subcontractors, every month someone is manually collecting bills, entering that data by hand into an Excel spreadsheet, and compiling often hundreds of pages of PDFs of invoices, notarized waivers, and photos before they submit that to the bank. It takes about 156 hours on average, again, every single month. And if there's one single error, so a missing signature, a math mistake, a mismatched line item, the entire package gets rejected and cash flow stops. These projects can and literally do shut down, and every single stakeholder suffers. So this isn't just inefficient, it's actually systemic risk in that $2 trillion industry. So what RecPay does is it actually automates this entire workflow from the bottom up and the top down. And since we have a US issued patent protecting our workflow methodology, competitors really can't easily replicate it. So now what used to take an hour to an hour and a half of manual time and work takes a single click. So the platform auto compiles all the billing data, the documents, the photos, the waiver into a bank ready, nice little pretty package accessible by all those folks who need it. And all the stakeholders work in one system with real-time collaboration, so no more email chains. And when changes are made, it updates automatically. They flow through the system, provides complete audit trails with bank-grade compliance, and even reconstructs historical project data. So overall, that's about a 50% time reduction, about $25,000 of monthly savings, zero manual PDF assembly, and instant visibility for everyone. And I literally mean everyone. And this repeats every month for the life of a project, which is on average about 18 to 24 months. So with over 2.1 in total construction and 1.2 in commercial US construction spending each year, this really isn't a nice to have situation. It's really a necessity. And RecPay isn't pre-revenue or pre-product. We're revenue ready with validated demand. We're not a build it and they will come story. We have active pilots with major GCs, bank monitors ready to mandate platform usage, which is really important because they are at the top of the food chain. Owners, reps, and developers asking for access, and a backlog of projects representing millions of dollars in potential ARR. RecPay is built by construction professionals for construction professionals, so we have the expertise, the technical chops, and the business acumen to execute. Really, the only thing holding us back is capital to support smooth onboarding and excellent customer experience. So as the CEO, one of my jobs is to look at the future and maximize our M&A values. I'm really excited that we are actually complementary to most existing construction tech systems. We're the only patented recurring automated G702, 703 workflow, and we manage money and risk. So we're the perfect fit for some of the largest construction management tools who manage projects all over the US. With construction as the last major industry running critical financial processes manually, we've got the patent, we've got the product, and we've got customers waiting. And I would really love to have the podcast listeners join us in transforming how construction gets paid.
Wow.
That is one of the more impressive things I've heard on Funding Fridays in a while. It is.
That's one of our runway companies. So
Oh,
to be
okay.
expected.
Well, of course, Kevin, I would, my expectations were high here. James, you want to ask questions?
I think it's pretty badass. Great idea.
Yeah.
Really good. Because it's not only construction, it's also redevelopers like myself. People,
Absolutely.
people who do value add. We buy an apartment community. We want to spend money, doing the roofs, doing the windows, doing all the interiors. We do have to go through and we have to give all of us it's a lot of time to submit this to the lender so that we can get it back. So it's a whole nother huge industry that would use this. I think I definitely use this.
Agree, and one of our advisors and BOD members is a real estate developer in New York, and he really struggles with transparency and the lender. If the lender doesn't disperse funds, they don't get accrued interest. So This is a systemic issue, and there's millions of dollars that are on the line if construction projects get delayed. So having something like this where it's completely transparent, click, 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 you can look backwards, all of that stuff is right at your fingertips. It really makes a big difference.
I like it.
So who's using this? Like, what does this look like? And how many users do you have right now? I guess you're in a beta version.
So we're past beta, we're at full launch. We've really slowed adoption. Right now, we're focused on lenders and bank monitors and developers because they're at the top of the food chain. They actually have the most risk on the line. So to demonstrate benefit, then they can bring in the GCs and the subcontractors and the vendors. All of those folks can play in the ecosystem. Every level of those folks, so the subcontractors and the GCs, have to do a pay app, have to do that bank draw every month that gets aggregated into that bigger project that then the lender has to approve and disperse the money for. So everyone has access and ROI in the system. We have a handful of clients that are on the portfolio right now, the platform right now, doing very well. But we really need the dev work because with these big fish, you get one shot. So we want them to have a streamlined onboarding experience, excellent customer experience, so that they can go and tell their colleagues, this is something you really need.
How are you pricing it? I'm just curious because I know that I have staff at my company that make like $90,000 that just do this job basically.
I'm sure.
Director. So I'm curious as to how you price this.
So we're early in the launch stage. So right now we charge a per month access fee for each stakeholder. So there's a charge for the lender, there's a charge for the bank monitor, the contractor, all the subs. They each have their own login, their own account, if you will, and they contribute to projects. They can also add on different projects if they really like it. As we move forward, we're going to be transitioning to more of a SaaS type of a pricing, but we need a lot more data to understand how many seats might be appropriate and really to get that information to make smart business choices.
Is there anybody else doing anything like this that you have any competitors here or abroad that are doing a product like this? I'm not familiar with any.
So most folks, the systems that are out there will have you upload a paper pay app and then take AI to check and see if there are issues, but that's not the same thing. Our workflow is you actually you take pictures of the site, it goes into the system, that gets tied in with the line items and the schedule of values. All of that's tied in. The only system that we really think right now could be considered a competitor is Oracle Textura. And that's the system that people use to assemble the manual PDFs. And Oracle bought that for $663 million. So that's an opportunity for us to come in and be a much better, more complete system with opportunities to even down the line add in things like, okay, the lender has decided your project is approved for that month. We can actually disperse the funds, put them into the bank account and facilitate that money transfer. That's really where we're heading overall.
All right. So we're running out of time. Everybody on this panel seems very interested. What do you need? What are you raising?
So we're raising 1.6 million left on a safe note of 2. So, and that again is really focused on developing the coding team and onboarding.
Awesome.
Amazing. And Jessica, I just also wanted to commend you on being a female founder in this industry, in the construction industry, because it's truly it's such a triumph that you're doing this, and congratulations. I love what you're building and look forward to learning more. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yep.
Well done.
Same.
I like it. Very good. All right. I think that's it. That's amazing. I'm sure they'll be please get in contact with me with your deck if you can on the Owwll app. We can connect that way on the Owwll app, but I do appreciate that. The only issue I have sometimes with these, not this one, but there's a lot of people who are trying to jam AI into real estate, and they're doing it wrong because no offense to James, a lot of these, apartment guys are older dinosaurs and they don't want to adapt to new technology. Not you, but mostly, you know what I mean. Like,
Watch it, buddy. You just better watch it.
But it's hard for them to adapt to new technology, right? I remember, some people in the late 90s, they're like, Excel, what's that? I use pen and paper. So, it's just a gradual, I think, acceptance of it. But it seems like she's got it dialed in. And if the banks are using it, that's going to add more pressure. People are probably not going to leave her mousetrap because they need to pay each month in order to get paid. So there's a lot to it.
Yeah. So I was very much less familiar with the construction industry. And when I learned about it, I just couldn't comprehend the way that it's being done now. It's kind of unbelievable.
It's a pain in the ass. It is such a pain in the
time
ass.
consuming. Like,
there's a lot of back and forth.
There's another company that just raised that we were working with. It was also an alumni, and it was a similar type of scenario. They're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
They sell software into police stations for another kind of ridiculously manual thing where they would have to transfer sometimes files using couriers. And I was like, I didn't know that still existed. It shouldn't happen.
Wow.
But they're like, well, to be compliant, it can't go through email or text, right? It has to get to a courthouse or a lawyer or a thing. There's no approved system to do it. And I was just astounded. It was like, well, that's silly. Like, there should be. And then he said, yeah, that's why we built this, and they're off and running. I think in 17 states now. It's really phenomenal.
Yeah. The one thing that, I get pitched a lot are like medical devices that doctors use, for improving something. And they're very difficult to get them to change their ways, right? It's just, they're already underpaid, overworked. The last thing they want is someone come in and tell them how they're going to change their world using AI. It's very difficult to get these guys and girls who are doctors to change their ways, right? There's always a human component to it. No matter how much technology is there, is the dog going to eat the dog food?
And also, to that point, with all of these technologies, to make it user friendly and easy. Because I think, especially with SaaS, I love that she mentioned that SaaS. I feel like people now have acclimated to SaaS as here's a technology solution that takes care of this for me. So
we had one of those medical ones too that was really targeting your primary, right? And if you try to approach them and what I tell a lot of the founders I work with is like, solve a problem. Well, the customer generally has to be aware of the problem. And you show up to a doctor who's been running his office for 20 years, working his ass off, and say, hey, you're doing everything wrong. That doesn't go so well.
No.
Even if it's
No.
true, right? So, the fact that you said this process is a pain in the ass, it speaks to Dr. Jess's, you're aware of the problem, which can be a problem when you talk about medical. So certainly I've seen a lot of that.
It's just harder to adapt, it's just, but if you can cut $90,000 out of your bottom line, and you're using this, and let's just say it's probably like maybe $400 a month or something, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's worth, I'm not saying that's the pricing, but that's compelling. We just finished a development that we invested into, and I can, when she was talking, I could see the whole thing is going through my, the bank loan, the draw, like I'm not involved with it, but I am involved with it. Right. And it's just, it takes a lot of time. I think, I have an idea for her, and maybe put it in front of someone who we work with to see what that looks like.
Excellent.
I think that, I think that the multifamily industry with how many people are doing value add? There's value
Everybody.
add, light value add, heavy value add, and this is good. This would be.
We got another caller. Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
I agree.
Oh, it's another one of mine.
We're gonna be impressed again. My expectations are high, Kevin. My expectations are high. I'm waiting for producer Jason to tell us when to speak. Signal issues. I know. It's the way it is.
So can you sign out of your Owwll account?
Yes, I will sign out. Actually, I can do that.
What's happening is it's calling that phone.
Oh, it is. Okay. So let me just sign out of it. That's.
Keep talking, 'cause it's
Yeah, I'll keep talking, but I'll sign out. Maybe I can give you the phone and you can sign out for me. That's okay. OW. Yeah, I'll just sign out right now. That's fine.
Yeah, we got to get these hot startups in here.
I know.
Some action. This is Funding Friday. It's not low Wi-Fi Friday.
No, come on. It's Friday. It's Super Bowl weekend. Everybody, I'm not excited about it. I don't really watch the football show, but
You watch the halftime show?
yeah, why not, right?
Yeah. Commercials?
That's it.
I feel like they all come out now before, or you hear about them after.
Yeah, it's kind of anticlimactic, right? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think from what I've seen, there's a lot of tear jerking ads coming out for the Super Bowl, from what I've heard.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, cars, nostalgia, things like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Do we have this caller on? Okay, not. Yeah, getting back to the property thing, I think the more she gets in front of people, and the more, and I do this with our companies. Like, I have some of the smartest people. Maybe Kevin, I should bring you on this too. Before we do anything formally to pitch, I want to see every hole in there, and I want to see what are the objections that you need to believe, or the things that need to happen for you to believe in order to, write a check. And so this is something that we democratize with smart people to knock it apart. And the caller is here. Hello, welcome to Funding Fridays. You are live streamed. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Nice to hear from you. Name and where you're from, please.
Oh, actually, I thought I was talking to Jason there for a second. This is Al Wagner.
Okay.
Marco Island, Florida.
Marco Island, Florida. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks. And I appreciate Dr. Cox. Thank you so much for thinking of us. And we're really happy to have been part of the class 14 of the Runway program.
Excellent. We'll jump right in. Tell them what you're
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, so I'm a recovering CPA. I was one from 94 through 2020 and ran into a very challenging situation within my practice, which was the process of delivering payroll services to my portfolio of clients. And over the last several years, the industry as a whole has the bigger players, folks like QuickBooks, ADP, Paychecks, and the like, have essentially squeezed out any margin and any capability of delivering that service to our client portfolios. And that portfolio is typically a small, medium-sized business with 50 or less full-time employees. And the average accountant bookkeeper will have 25 to about 40 in their book of business. And they have nowhere to really go with those folks and provide a stable and profitable service line. That happened to me in it was May 5th of 2021 when the industry took a really, really drastic turn because a lot of us had used a QuickBooks-based product, and Intuit made a monumental change in their pricing structure and their service model for accountants and bookkeepers and removed 2/3 of our profit margin. At the same time, they also took away all of our ability, essentially, to service that client in a support role. And we end up in the same queue as everybody else, which is a call center and or a text center, chat center, and we don't have the ability to really service that client. So we put fingers to keyboards and built our own solution. Nobody else was doing it. We built it. And that solution is called Wholesale Payroll. And it's built for and by accountants. The target audience for us are the bookkeepers and CPA firms in the country. We've got about 108 firms on platform ready to go. And we are in a pre-launch, basically at launch with those clients, wrapping up just a couple of loose ends in a compliance functionality because all of these payroll companies, including us, are considered money movers. So there's a new trend over the last 4 years that requires all of us to be compliant with anti-money laundering and know your customer and whatnot. So the platform that we built solves a plethora of problems that range from simple fixing a check for a customer through secured money movement, through fraud detection, and more importantly, revenue, where firms can actually create a revenue center out of what currently is a loss leader. So what we're doing now is closing out our seed round, and it was a $1.2 million round. We've raised 800 of that, and we're looking to close on 400 of that round. The market is really quite large for the product. It's about an $80 billion industry. There are roughly 3 million bookkeepers and CPAs in the country. Our target SOM is, or our service addressable market is about 7,500 in the next 5 years. That's the target on that is about $100 million of gross revenue every year from that audience. We have confirmed 15 of our users for launching on the platform within the next 3 months, going from 0 to full portfolios, and it represents about $63,000 of MMR or MRR by July 1st. I've actually physically been using the platform for some of my clients, going through alpha, beta, and now in the full use capacity. And that's our story. We're looking to change the industry from how services get delivered from these big players back to the relationships that accountants and clients are built on. Questions? Comments?
Go ahead.
What about the institutions? Are they going to take this idea and copy it? And because how do you stay ahead of them? Like, you've gotten this ahead of them with this, which I commend you. It sounds like a great product. But the same way that they sort of squeezed you out before, is there a chance they're going to copy you in some way and squeeze you out again? And how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, fundamentally, the business model is the key differentiator, and that's the moat that we built around our product and how we deliver that service at the cost we're able to deliver it at. The bigger players, such as ADP and Paychex and those guys, their business models don't support that kind of drastic change. And the hit that they would end up taking in stock and valuations on Wall Street would really be extremely detrimental to them in terms of that valuation. And they are a direct seller to the end employer. And they're not there to support, nor do they want the CPA in the middle or the bookkeeper in the middle of that equation anymore. So I don't foresee any challenge in terms of and their technology, quite frankly, in some cases, is so antiquated. On the front end, it looks like it works, but on the back end, there's a lot of mice running around on wheels to get things done. But we don't foresee that as a real challenge for us in terms of even in the next 5 to 10 years of them retooling what they're doing and leveraging better technology to make a competitive model to what we're doing.
Yeah. Good points. Yeah. CPAs are usually allergic to risk. I appreciate you for, setting this up. With that said, how difficult or what's the plans to get, your service addressable market to get on board? How are you selling this? How's it being marketed currently?
That's a great question. We started off with using college kids actually to just make cold calls. It worked pretty well for a brand exercise, and they used it as such for their various classes a few years ago. Today, we're using continuing education classes that we update annually and put it in front of tens of thousands every month through it's a free class for them to take, and then the cost model for us is we pay. It's basically a pay-per-click. So when somebody shows up at that class, then we have a charge or fee to pay to the continuing ed provider online streaming system. Secondarily, we go to conferences. We participate in different online groups where our audience sits. I'm one of our audience. So I've said this many different times. I'm not necessarily the salesman you want in front of clients, except for this product, because I live it, I breathe it, I am them when it comes to what do we do in this industry for how we service these customers. And so when we talk about pain points, when we talk about whether it's on a one-on-one call, whether it's on a demo, whether it's whether I'm public speaking, I can address their pain because I feel it along with them. So when we're out speaking to them, it's social media campaigns have been fairly successful for us in reaching the audience. And it's all about engagement at that point and leading them into an automated demonstration system. So they don't even have to talk to us if they don't want to.
How many,
link.
Yeah. How many clients do you have right now on it, and what are they paying?
There's 108. The average fee for a portfolio size of about 35 clients is $1,700 a month.
Okay. So you're making money already on this?
A little bit.
Okay. All right. We have another caller here. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure.
We're just running out of time.
We're just running out of time. I think that I don't know much about the accounting industry. I don't know anyone who really could help with that. James, you?
Not my specialty, but
I actually know a couple of great accountants with big firms, so I'm curious if this would be a value add for them, and I am happy to make that introduction.
There you go. On the Owwll app, you're going to connect with Maryn. Okay, connect with Maryn on the Owwll app. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I mean, if you know people, getting around socializing is really the most important thing.
Well, yeah. And, I wasn't, of course, familiar with it either. But one of the things I really liked about Owwll and wholesale payroll was that it was niche, right?
Yeah.
Like so many entrepreneurs want to boil the ocean, and they have these huge charts where they're like, oh, my addressable market's, 50 billion. And it's like, hey, you're two seniors at FAU. Like, you're super sharp, but how are we getting there?
Yeah.
Whereas something like this, like, if you are an accountant, like they're pretty easy to target, as Al said, like, what conference they go to, where they go for that continuing education. And if you're not that, he need not waste any time with you, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, none of us own an accounting firm. We're not the customer.
No.
Next, it makes it a lot easier from a marketing, onboarding, growth perspective to at least start. Maybe there are some other users, other verticals for any number of products, but I always encourage my founders, start with that really focused niche, because then you can find them, you can get feedback.
And
another caller,
James, has a saying for that. But yes, continue. Welcome. Say it. Go ahead.
Niches get you the bitches.
Sorry.
Mm.
Sorry, Mom.
Welcome to the Owwll, to Funding Fridays on the Owwll app. Hello and welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for having me. How's it going?
Good. How's it going? Where are you from? What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Logan Kramer. I currently live in Chicago from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm a Owwll alumni, graduating in 2021.
Yeah,
Pleasure being here.
Nice. This is one of my students. So Logan,
Yes.
tell us all what you're working on and
Wow, this
what
is
you're trying to raise for.
knocking it out of the park today.
Yeah, Professor Cox, great
Owwll.
to connect. I took Professor Cox's class back in 2020, so very full circle moment here. Yeah, so me and my childhood best friend from Wisconsin, we created a anti-hangover gummy company. It's a patent-pending blend of vitamins, electrolytes, and herbs that help your liver metabolize the alcohol while drinking. Our main ingredient is called DHM. It's been used in Asia for over 100 years now. And what it does is it helps your liver metabolize the alcohol by increasing two enzymes more efficiently. And we are the first ones to ever put it in gummy form. So as I'm sure you all know, South Florida, FAU, and Wisconsin are both fun drinking cultures. But as soon as, Professor Cox's class is over and the diploma hits your hand, the day after drinking just became a lot worse. So my business partner's mom actually introduced us to our main ingredient just in pill form. And we were taking it in pill form at the bars. And everyone was looking at us like, why are you popping pills at the bar? So we decided, the best format is gummy form. It's very socially acceptable.
Yeah.
And so after about 18 months of R&D, we finally went live about a year and a half ago. We're now in about 200 stores across the U.S.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Growing month over month on Amazon about 40%. We actually are raising our first round of funding and are almost actually oversubscribed on the round.
Wow.
Starting like this week.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congrats on that. That is incredible.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Wow. So, do we have any free samples of these gummies?
Yeah, they will definitely be coming.
All right.
We actually are part of the funding was to help just enhance the flavor aspect of the gummies because it definitely
You broke up
tastes
there
like
a
they
little bit.
work,
It did.
and I would say the male audience doesn't care about that, but our female audience definitely. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. You're breaking up a little bit, but
Can you hear
yeah.
me? Hello?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Care about taste.
Yeah. Women care about bad taste. Men don't care.
Yeah, I can hear you.
And they'll pop pills in the bar. That's
Yes.
What
but
about
that's not socially acceptable. So we'll make it gummies.
what
I love
about
it.
the competition? Because I know there's
There's
some
a lot of
products in the
hangover
market
remedies
that-
out there.
Yes. How do you
Yeah,
differentiate?
definitely. So I would say the two biggest ones is just being obviously in gummy form is socially acceptable. So we're also one of the only companies that sells at festivals, at bars, as garnishes on drinks. That's a huge differentiator for us.
Oh, wow.
I would say the other
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would say the other differentiator is that we are cheaper than everyone else. So we're 2 servings for the same cost as everyone's 1 serving in drink format or pill format. So 1 pack of our gummies is actually 2 servings and it's good for up to 10 drinks versus basically everyone else on the market is the same price for 1 serving and 5 drinks.
This is all very cool. I could imagine it on a high-end martini.
Oh, yeah,
Instead of
yeah,
an
yeah.
olive, you get one of these gummies
Yeah.
and you're set for your evening. So, Logan, why don't you tell us some details about what the raise is, the terms, and
The name of the product too.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so the company is called Liqueur, Liqure. And we are currently raising $500,000 at a $3.3 million valuation. It'll help with kind of the new production run that I was talking about, but also we actually got a grant for clinical trials.
Oh, wow.
And so, and basically just to clarify with you, like we're not trying to be a drug. What these clinical trials do is just give us clinically backed claims on a specific product. So all of our ingredients are already clinically backed. but we want that like liqueur gummy stamp of approval on that clinical trial. And that also will help us with our patent as well, because our patent is also patent pending currently. So when it's up for review, that will also, and we actually just received IRB approval for a double-blind crossover study, which is like a pretty big accomplishment in itself, because a lot of our competitors actually get denied for that study, because when alcohol is involved in the study, I think because we got the grant, we were, that helped in our favor. So super excited about that. And then also we want to put some money and fuel on the fire to Amazon. So when we first started, we were completely bootstrapped literally up until this past week. So for the last 3 years, it's just been me and my childhood best friend. And when we first started, we were trying to scale online. And obviously, if you don't have a lot of dollars and relying on organic, there's only so much you can do there. So that's how we kind of scaled from the retail perspective and getting into events, because we needed to make money. And so we literally just started door knocking our way into stores and scaled our way up to 125 stores in Chicago. And that's how we got in touch with alcohol distributors to help distribute us into more stores that way. Yeah. And then also from a festival standpoint as well. So the money will help scale on Amazon, but also through retail as well.
Well, I commend you on your progress. Aside from the promotion of alcohol consumption a little bit, it's fantastic.
It is.
You alumni story. And, that double-blind peer review, that's the gold standard in studies. You don't see that a lot with supplements. So I commend you on that. And I commend you on bootstrapping this thing too. You didn't go out there and try to raise early at some tiny valuation and lose most of the company. And you're not raising too much now. I mean, it's 500,000. Come on, Sal. Can't you help him round that out?
I want to try a product first, and then I want to be a believer.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to be a believer.
I like the gummy aspect as well, because a really smart guy gave me this packet of pills that I'm supposed to take. It was like you take 4 at the beginning of the night. I'm like, I don't take pills at all. Now you're telling me to take 4 pills, and then it was like 2 in the middle of when you're drinking, and then more. And it was like, I don't want to take all those pills.
Yeah, and your friends at the bar are going to think, you might have a little bit of an issue.
You might have a little issue. Is that Ritalin?
Totally. And that's one of the reasons why we love the 2 serving aspect as well, Kevin, because when you're drinking, you're usually drinking socially. So, if you don't need 2 servings, that's fine. You could also just, share with a friend, and it's also resealable. So if you don't have a friend to share with and you only have a couple of drinks, you can take 1 serving and then share the rest, or, save the rest for another time.
I would say you're at ground zero in Chicago, because I have a lot of friends from Wisconsin, and I think I saw somewhere on I just want to say LinkedIn or maybe Instagram that the biggest boozing cities were all in Wisconsin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should have a big weekend this weekend.
Yeah. Super Bowl. I'd hand it out to people. Really.
I love that you do it at festivals, because there's like 300,000 people go to these, at least the ones that I go to. And that's nice, sort of guerrilla marketing where you can, for no real money.
You might want to get on with some of these apps on Uber. I know someone who's done this, and I live in an apartment, and of course, you can, anybody who orders alcohol, you might want to just maybe somehow get your product integrated into that for a free sample every time they order something. Yeah, on Uber.
We experimented that a little bit on. It's a company called Snag, and it's Snag Delivery, and it's actually only at colleges, and they have like fraternity guys driving around scooters, dropping off alcohol around college campuses. So we actually did a program where if you buy a case of beer, you get a free pack of gummies as well. So we've experimented a little bit there. I definitely want to expand. That's a good call out for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. That's wonderful. Well, get in contact with us on the Owwll app if you can. I'm going to try your product just to see how it tastes.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I will. No, I'm looking forward to that. Wow, this is impressive, Dr. Cox. You're knocking it out of the park with these people. I mean, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing.
Congratulations again, Logan, and thanks for calling in. After the show, I'll shake these guys down on your behalf.
Hang them upside down.
Pass the hat.
Pass the hat. All right, I love it. Thank you. That's amazing. It's good. You have some good stuff here coming in. I mean, this is great. I guess we're still opening up for calls. We're doing good on time here, Professor Jason or producer Jason. Perfect.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get some of these things funded, right? I mean,
This
look,
is how you do it. You got to put it out there. You
this is
got to.
Funding Friday. We got real founders, we got real raises,
Yeah.
we got real stakes. I mean, this is it.
They got real money raised too. I mean, raising 1.6 or being oversubscribed on something is just it's not heard of today, right?
Yeah,
It's not heard of today, really. For a small first-time founder, I assume, company, coming in. Do we have someone else coming in? No, we're good. All right, perfect.
I was just going to say that I'm involved with Drexel University in Philadelphia, and they also have an entrepreneur program. So I want to hook you up with the guy that runs that because he's a tremendous guy.
Yeah, that'd be great. And it's a great showcase, right, for our companies. A lot of people presume that because we have a university affiliated accelerator, that it's just going to be students, right? Students selling shirts and hats and maybe making some great products like Logan, but not always the most exciting technology. What really keeps me engaged and is the most exciting and unique aspect of our programs. We try to find the hottest and best startups in South Florida, right? You don't need to be affiliated with the university at all. It's very much a Y Combinator Techstars model.
Yeah.
So we had a whole bunch of founders in a new class just out this week, and there's more and more exciting things coming down the pipeline. Both students, but especially those non-students. We even get some serial entrepreneurs, people that are pretty far along. So for investors, it's a great opportunity and a great showcase. We're going to have some fantastic events this fall that I'll be promoting, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
We have our big annual business pitch competition and then our innovation awards, so that'll all happen in April, and we're looking for partners and sponsors for that.
Well, give us, maybe we can come up, bring some people from Miami, some families that we know up.
Excellent. Yeah,
That'd be
we
great.
love it. But I think I got all my founders squared away, and I've got to go teach a class.
Oh my
So,
gosh, you're leaving us?
I'm
right.
afraid so. If there's a rule, you can't really be late to your own class.
No,
It's
you
not a
can't.
good
No.
look,
No, it's
And
not.
Some of the students might be late, but if the professor's late, everybody's going to mail it in. So
Yeah.
thanks for having me here today.
Thank you very much,
It's been my
Dr. Cox.
pleasure.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, thanks a
Thank you.
lot.
Thank you. Give him a round of applause. That was amazing. This is great. Yeah.
Amazing founders.
We're coming into the golden age of America, I think. You're going to see a lot of fun stuff happen, and it's going to happen much faster than ever before.
Absolutely.
I don't really follow the football shows or sports or anything, but I am a financial nerd. And, I think there'll be a point probably not too soon that you'll have 4 guys in a basement with $1 billion company. Right? It's really, we're coming to that. Guys and gals. A lot, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Young people, 4 of them, $1 billion valuation, which doesn't seem that big anymore, does it?
It is, and also I feel that we've also surpassed that. With billion-dollar companies or unicorns, I've been calling the new trillion-dollar companies Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Flying
Pegasus.
Yeah.
Wow. So SpaceX will be a Pegasus, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Saudi Aramco, Pegasus, right? I like that. I'm going to steal that. I like that, Maryn. That's amazing. No, I really like it.
Utilize it widely.
That would be, yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, but I mean, these guys, any one of these guys, I don't know all of them, but like one of them at least is probably going to hit $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the
Absolutely.
chances now for that happening with AI, it's just inexcusable if you don't hit it, right?
Exactly.
I think so.
And
Somebody-
also,
Go ahead.
What's up, guys? I'm joining the table.
Thank you,
Getting
Jason,
up
for
to
coming
see.
in. Thank you.
I was the guy behind the scenes for a little bit today, but sometimes I get to the table and join you guys.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that for coming along. It's been we've had some great calls here, and it's a testament to you. I mean, you're improving the the people who use the app. I like using the app. I haven't used the text thing yet, but
It's amazing.
I want to. I've just been busy, but now I have a little bit of downtime, so I'm gonna do that. I was telling James on the way here that sometimes at night, if I remember, like if I'm not doing anything between like 6:30 and 8:30, I just leave it on. Just leave it on. It's perfect. Really cool.
Well, here's the trick for Funding Fridays. What we're noticing is, it's hard for you. You're a very busy individual. So is everybody at this table.
Yeah.
To set yourself available at a low price, and then calls come in at random. But what you can do is set yourself up at a very high price. Put yourself at $50 to $100. A lot of startup founders, if they're really interested, then you know they're taking your time very serious, and you're not just getting someone to BS with you and just calling you out of the blue on a Friday. And then you set your text price somewhere in like the $2 to $5 range.
Okay.
Right, that little bit of friction, $2 to $5, you know that they've read your profile and they're quite serious.
Yeah.
Where everything else is free, right? When you're looking at Instagram DMs, you're looking at LinkedIn DMs, and and we all receive so many things from international locations where your DMs just fill up with solicitations. But now people are paying to get priority access to you, and you know that Owwll is that source where it keeps track of those metrics. It shows how quickly you respond.
Yep.
And how often you respond. So we really believe that Owwll is going to be a major player in the funding space.
Yeah.
Because it really gives people direct access to the right individuals. And you guys are sick of it, right? You guys are like, oh my God, my inbox is full of a bunch of BS.
Hey, I'm going to be in Miami for, this quick coffee. I'm like, it's just.
I know. So now this kind of.
So I just ship them to the.
It's a lot easier. So we're excited. Funding Fridays. Now with the partnership with Florida Atlantic University.
That's huge.
And
right, Maryn? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we got Owls over here, of course.
Yes, we do.
There we go. There we go.
I think we should have some sort of a face-off with the Owls for FAU versus the Drexel Dragons. You can have an entrepreneurial face-off. I mean, I think it would be good exposure for everybody, really.
Yeah, that would. You can arrange that, James. That would
I could.
That would be really amazing. It would be really great.
Absolutely.
No, I use it because people who want to pick my brain or something, I just be like, yeah, follow me on the app, and then you can talk then. Until then, and then you know if they're serious or not, right?
Exactly. And it also curates. I feel like everything now is about curated communities.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that aspect as well, is that it's very community centric and direct access rather than LinkedIn.
Oh, you can get anyone.
We accept people, and also I only accept people that I know and that's connected in my circles, and also my inbox is completely full with so many messages that I don't ever really get to. So so I really appreciate this, and it's a value add for everyone all around, and love that it's Owwll centric. It's the best.
Of course. So let's jump into just the sediment, I guess, when it comes to general investing right now. There's so many startups that I'm around. They're always asking me, can you put me in touch with a VC, an angel investor, family office, kind of what's happening right now, right? We've seen major shifts in the markets recently in the crypto world right now. The stock market took a dive yesterday. So what's going on with deal flow, and what states are very popular? Like kind of what industries? Kind of give me an overview.
I can say in real estate, most of the properties that I've owned and managed are up in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I started getting people telling me, we love your perfect record and your longevity and your community service, but why those states? Can't you get us Florida or Texas? And the first person that said it to me, I laughed, like, that's ridiculous. But I kept hearing it again and again and again until finally I came down to Miami to check it out. And it's really, it's very robust here. It's, the official bird, here's a real estate joke for you. The official bird of Miami, the crane. Get it? The crane, like
yeah.
Construction crane.
I got that one. I've heard that one before. Yeah.
No, so for me, it's really been Florida and Texas are really on fire.
That's the same thing, really. I mean, the last real estate deal we did with a third generation family office from California, big family, and they're not investing in California; they're investing in Texas.
And yes, with real estate as well, just something to add to that. I also see an influx in building with eco-friendly building materials and a focus on more sustainability when it comes to real estate as well. So I'm excited about that.
Green
building, exactly. I was just I was in Austin for 6 months last year, working with several properties, and there is a very big focus in Texas and also in Florida on green buildings.
So one other thing too. One other state too that we're forgetting is Utah. Utah has tremendous amount of growth. They have the Silicon Slopes over there. A lot of talent going out there, a lot of things being built out of there. But those seem to be the three states, and Utah fights to be business friendly almost as much as Florida, actually. So they go head to head. I've been to one of their conferences where it was the crossroads of the world, and they had three governors there. They wheeled them all out, and the current governor, and then George W. came out and gave a speech, and they're really encouraging a lot of startups, a lot of businesses to move there. And I think that's going to be, that's California is definitely not going to be a beneficiary of that. I think a lot of that's going. There's still if you really are smart and you really want to go somewhere really fast, I think like if you're in the AI or real deep tech, you want to be in Palo Alto, right? I mean, that's really where, if you have the agency to move to Palo Alto, that's still very, very strong out there because people are very, very smart out there. But all things considered, it's very prohibitive from a tax and a business standpoint to get things going there.
Let's say you couldn't move there, right? You're a startup founder. There's so many founders that I go to these conferences and they don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
They see all this knowledge online, but they try it and then they really can't get in touch with investors. They can't get them on Zoom. They can't get them on phone calls. If you were in their shoes, what would you do, right? You have a company, you have some revenue coming in, and you're trying to raise, let's say, $1 million, $3 million, as an example. Would you get on a plane and start going to conferences in California, like you just referenced? Would you stay here in Miami?
No, I would.
What would
Yeah.
you do online? Would you use LinkedIn?
No, I would.
Obviously, Owl's now a new tool for
Yeah.
them, but
Exactly.
what would you do?
I mean, if I didn't use the Owwll app, obviously, I would just go to the conferences and meet people, because there's there's this, organic, type of, for lack of a better word, intimacy that people want, because I think we're in the middle of a loneliness pandemic since the pandemic, and people now want interactivity, they want community, and that's the best way to do it, because when you're asking someone to part with part of their life savings, which is the highest calling, yeah, it is, people want to see who you are. They want to see what you look like in person, your idiosyncrasies. Do you blink a lot? There's things that people are trying out, because you're not selling them a book. You're not selling them an app. You're asking them to part with part of their life savings and to trust you. And my experience, and I tell people this, and it was funny because the first time I met Dr. Cox, we talked on the shrimp tank, and I said, the lower the barrier to entry, if it's just some sort of meetup with red Solo cups, you're not going to find any investors there. But on the extreme side of it, if you pay $25,000 to go to Milken, for example, in LA, then people are going to take you much more seriously because you paid that ticket to the barrier to entry to get there.
I think that I hear all the time from people that are trying to get into family offices and trying to. People say we can't get any traction because we get stopped at that the first line, which is like Wall Street guys that the family offices have hired to run their acquisition stuff,
or to say no.
Yeah. So if you go to these these places that are of conventions or whatever, where you have the people speaking, they get the key is to get to those people and go around that front line.
Yeah.
And one way that I like to do it is having with charities and things that are save the planet, save the earth, because if you can connect with somebody who's head of a family office who's doing something that saves the earth, if you make a friend that way, it's a way to access them without having to go to their analysts.
I completely agree with that, James. I feel that everything is relationship based, and also, to both of your point, being in person and meeting people in person is very important, and values alignment is very important. So I'm much more open to hearing from someone when I know that we're in a space for a shared purpose, where no matter what walk of life they come from, if they are at an event that is purposeful and that we both care about the same thing, and there's a demonstrated track record of caring and doing good things, then that's what matters to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually interesting. Things haven't changed that much over time, right? I was in New York City in the financial service world, that everything was relationship driven, and going to networking events and going to conferences, and of course, you did a lot of activity and good things would happen. And in the startup world, I think everyone shifted to what they read online, which is like LinkedIn message everybody, DM everybody, email everybody. It's all about volume. Use AI, blast every venture capitalist email. And the truth is, if they're realizing that their audience isn't working like that, and they go back to the traditional style of going to conferences and just getting to know people, it actually works. And it's interesting, when I go to a lot of these conferences, nobody in the room is 20 to 35. And they're all the ones always asking me like, hey, Jason, I know you know a lot of venture capitalists, angel investors through the shrimp tank. Yeah. And of course, now with this show, Funding Fridays. And then I I'm always like, go to the conferences, but they won't get out of bed to go there.
No,
They
it's
won't
a
pay the
skill.
ticket price. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, but it's $200 to get into that room. I'm like, $200. Look how much money you're spending, wasting your time sending DMs all day long and getting no responses. I'm like, value your time better.
You might get 3 guys that you talk to, or 3 girls that are, that are.
Go hang out at the Starbucks at the conference.
You
if you
gotta
can't
play the
pay
long
price,
game.
right?
Play
They
the
all gotta
long
go to the
game.
Starbucks.
You got to play the long game, like you're dating these people, like you're like for courting for marriage, right?
Yeah. Because they say, I've heard so many times, I don't have to deal with assholes. I can work with anybody. I want to work with people that I like.
Yeah,
And
me too. Yeah,
it's sometimes it's the people more than the deal.
Yeah,
I've heard that a lot.
Always, yeah.
Absolutely.
And for the founder, it's got to be like, is this someone that you want calling you on a Monday morning all the time, right? It's just that. I think it's a skill set going to these conferences, and people just put it off. And it's amazing to me how many people are looking for capital last minute. I'm like, you've known about this deal. Why are you just telling me now about this? Or like, well, and they always look at it as like putting it in a junk drawer, if you will, right? They don't care about it until they should. They should be doing that all the time. Living in Miami is great. Selfishly, everybody comes to me, so I spend a lot of time talking to people. But that can be exhausting. Like if you were coming in from LA and you didn't live in, or even Palm Beach for that matter, you're coming into, you've been to some of our events. That's time for me to spend with these investors who have already invested, and I very casually do this whenever I'm on I'm speaking in front of a bunch of families. I say, hey, I just wrote a book, my 3rd book. It talks about how we run our family office. If anybody wants a free copy of it, let me know, shipping included. I'll send you an autographed copy. They read it, and the book has sort of like a documentary effect, and then they feel more compelled to work with you because they know what your values look like. I'm not telling all founders to go out there and write a book, but James read the book.
Yep.
I don't know if you have a copy, but I'll get you one.
I love one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your book was that year. It was the how-to guide for me.
Yeah.
When I decided that I wanted to get out of the institutional world and get into people and families like myself, your book was really the how-to guide. It was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd raised money from institutions, and then I had 2 funds, and institutions look at numbers. The problem is families look at stories, and if you can't tell a story, and if you're not prepared and you're not wearing the right clothes, and you go to these events, you better be scripted and scripted tight, because you make one impression, you get one chance to make a good first impression.
So well said. It's really true. And like for me, like I'm working on a charity that has to do with foster kids. So if you want to access me, the best way to do it is probably to come and bring something to the table that has to do with the foster system.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to help these kids. And guess what? I'm going to give you the time of day.
Yeah, because it seems a little more organic and not forced. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're in the middle of Shark Tank Nation, where everybody became very transactional. It's like here's and I call them deck picks. I get them. We were on a yacht party the other night, right? I don't know if you were there. James was there, and this guy, I give him the number, and then before you know it, I have a 32 megabyte PDF on my iMessage. I'm like, I don't need to see this right now. Like, here, take a look at this. Like, I'm not going to look on my phone through your 46-page deck in some font, which is very difficult to read. It's just not, it's just not.
I don't like where we're heading here, right? Because I'm not in your industry.
Yeah.
Right. I'm on a different side. So what gives each of you guys the ick, right? Because I think it's important, right? From startups,
Just,
right?
I mean,
doing that, obviously that's an ick for you, but each of you, let's go down a line. And like when people have approached you on social media or in person and they don't realize what they've done.
I would say when people are very transactional and they're just like looking to get something and get my time, my attention, and without having a proper relationship and warm introduction. I also really appreciate when my friends introduce me with people because I'm much more apt to pay attention and to speak with someone when there's a warm introduction. So when people try to come up to me or like cold, I just don't respond to cold emails or cold calls ever because it's just not something that I need to pay attention to. I deeply feel that people that are meant to be in my circles will come in through warm introductions or through these curated networks. So anyone who tries to approach me and pitch me something unsolicited is an ick for me, for sure.
Same. To me, I see it differently. Like, I get pitched all the time. There are people who are going to be in Florida. So I said, okay, meet me at this place at 5 p.m. on Friday. Well, I want one-on-one time. No, I don't. Let's see how you work in person. Sure enough, they fail. they're a little bit maybe on the spectrum. They're very dedicated, but they don't really know how to build a relationship. They start talking about what they're working on. And I can tell you the people who I go out with, they get so annoyed about talking about business because it's sort of like, it's like throwing a French fry on the beach. All the, seagulls come in and just pick at you. I mean, I've been pitched at the urinal at the JP Morgan healthcare event. Guys coming up to me, they're like, hey, but you have a badge on that says allocator. That's the French fry, right? So that's the French fry that's thrown in there. Like, hey, you do anything in diagnostics? I'm like, come on, man. Like, let me wash my hands first, okay? But I mean, people do it, and there's people who are more desperate and entrepreneurial. Another thing that I learned too when I was out there is that there was a founder, and I was picking up I was getting an Uber going back to the hotel, and there was this guy with a Wisconsin license plate picking me up. I'm like, this is interesting. The guy drove all the way from Wisconsin just to Uber drive to pitch guys like me going back and forth.
Are you serious?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And hey,
He
you
deserves
investor?
capital.
Yeah. This guy.
I like that.
He was smooth. I didn't want. I was walking out and I had the tag on, and he was like, "Yep, here's my mark." And I'm a friendly guy. I hooked him up with someone, and then he sent me a text saying that was the best introduction ever. Thank you so much for this. And I mean, if somebody's driving all the way to Wisconsin to San Francisco, they're really, they're committed.
They are. They're going to be on stage one day, and
Yeah,
they're
are
going to make it, right?
Yeah.
It reminds me, Jesse Itzer talks about all the time when he was trying to make it. He couldn't afford to get into the conference, or he couldn't get a ticket, so he went to the Starbucks and he bought all the muffins. And he knew that obviously people were going to go down, get a coffee and a muffin. So then he was sitting at the table, and I don't know how he did it, but he was just nicely saying, "Hey, do you want a muffin? I have an extra one." And one by one, they would sit down and get to know him because he was a giver. He was giving.
Yeah, he was giving. Yeah, you got to give.
He built a private airplane business through those relationships over time, and of course now he's one of the most successful entrepreneurs out there. But it's through really innovative strategies and out of the box ideas, which so often people try to continuously do it the same way as everybody else, and then it's the French fry effect.
Yeah, it's the French fry effect. But yeah, you'll get there. Money's plentiful today, right? It's just making sure your story's dialed in.
How about you? So what gives you the ick?
The ick for me, I guess, is that when if I'm at a function and somebody gets their claws in me, I won't let go. I see
social awkwardness. Yeah.
I cannot. People come and go, and they're just locked in, and they don't stop talking long enough for me to say, "Excuse me." That's kind of my ick, I guess, and probably just fresh in my mind. It just happened recently. And I guess the other thing is, just a piece of advice is do your homework. If you're going to be going someplace where people are going to be there, do your homework. I'm in a family business. It's the Korman. There's different branches, and I'll have people come up to me and they'll completely, they'll. It seems like they've done their homework, but they haven't because they're talking about a totally different company. And then I have to explain that before I can even. So do your homework. It makes it also. Yeah. It means a lot to the person that you're talking to. That you take the time that you know something about them, and I think that helps.
My ick is when I'm at a conference, I'm talking with you, let's say, and then someone just completely overtalks you and like, "Oh, hey, by the way," and I'm like, "How did you just interrupt us? We were obviously in a conversation." And they just
some people
right
don't have,
and you're like, "How do you not have the etiquette to realize I was in a one-on-one right now, and wait until we stop speaking to then say, hey." Are you Jason Hill? I'd like to get I saw you on Funding Fridays or the Shrimp Tank, whatever it might be, and then jump in, right? It's amazing the lack of etiquette.
No, it's the lack of social awareness. These guys, I've seen it happen. It just backfires, and people just get so disgusted because they don't want to be stuck with someone with bad breath pitching a deal that they would never invest into, right? It's just doesn't work that way.
What about the flip side? What is the most unique story? Somebody, you just shared one, an Uber driver, and you gave him a great referral. But let's go down and share a story where someone really did something amazing and you really wanted to help them out.
Maryn?
Oh my goodness. So many. I would say so I was at remembering if it was, I think it was Nexus. I'm a member of this a global community of next gen philanthropists, social entrepreneurs, and innovators called Nexus Global. And so someone, this woman, she walked up to me and she was focused on because my focus is on world peace, and so she walked up to me and she had done her research. She's a young entrepreneur. She had done her research about the speakers and people who were involved in the conference. And so she walked up to me and was so kind. And she said, I've read about you and I love your work with world peace and mental health awareness and all these things. And then she shared with me about her company that's focused on mental health for frontline people at the front lines of war. So she's focused on the Ukraine. And so she had done, clearly she had researched everyone, or perhaps I was one of the people that she researched. And she walked up and she was very humble and wonderful. And she had a clear focus, and she had a clear company, and she was also in a curated community, and she had just really she presented so well, and she really cares about what she's doing, and she's created a solution. One of the things I loved so much about all of the founders that called in is that they're all creating valuable solutions to solve current challenges in their industries. And so I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate when people see a problem and they innovate to solve it. And she is young, and she didn't have she came into the conference and she had networked right in there and had come in as a social entrepreneur and had clearly done the work to get there. So I really appreciate when people show up prepared, and also with a great heart and an open heart to really connect with people who care about what they care about.
Yeah. It was interesting because I was giving a speech in front of a bunch of families and founders at the Ivy Fund session about 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And I had just gone through our whole portfolio, and this one CEO came up, and he's one of our favorites today. And he complimented the portfolio. He said, "That's a very nice portfolio. I would love to be a part of it." And that, to me, I was like, that's interesting. And now we have millions into it, and he's very, very successful, and we're very happy with it. But that was pretty seductive.
I guess mine is just turning over the coin from what my icky thing was. So if you come well prepared, it's very impressive when somebody knows about what you're doing and what you're working on. That's very that because we're all human beings, and we all like to know that we're not a tree falling in a forest that everybody hears, that we're actually doing something. That to me also is a big thing.
Yeah.
And kids, when somebody talks about their kids or has a kid at one of these functions, that's a great. It's like going out with a puppy. People will come to see you if you're.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same thing a lot of times with work and kids, because people just generally, I think, want to help their kid because they look at, if it was my kid, so that's something that's. But being well prepared, I think, is always really important.
Yeah, I think going back, I used to do the same thing Jesse did when I was starting out, raising my first fund. Today you can't do that because the iConnections, they close the hotel out, so they won't even let you in the hotel unless you have a badge. So times have changed a little bit, especially with the more competitive ones or the expensive ones.
Now you got to fake a badge.
Now
go online,
go online,
photo,
gonna make
print
my
it
own.
up. There's some crazy stories out there. I've met people that go into conferences all the time by faking badges. It's crazy.
But I go for the big game. Like when I see who the speakers are.
Yeah.
And I try to see how I'm going to access those speakers. Those are the people that I do homework on.
Absolutely.
Because that's a chance where you're not going to get a chance to access them. They've got gatekeepers and so if you can see who's speaking at that conference or whatever, doesn't matter how many people are going to be there. That I go for. I'm a big game hunter.
Yeah.
Not animals. Never don't hunt.
No.
But big game as far as business wise.
Yeah, you get elephant hunters are called.
Or whale hunters.
Yeah, whale hunters. Okay.
On my end, I'm a big believer just actions and metrics and data. So often everyone wants to do things with myself because the connection with Florida Atlantic University, maybe it's with the shrimp tank, maybe it's with Funding Fridays, maybe it's with the Owwll App, right? So people come from all different angles, and they start DMing me, they start messaging me, and they see something online, of course, that we posted, and they're curious, and then all of a sudden they want to rush to the front of the line. But I'm like, where were you when I needed your support? Where were you when we posted 2 months ago about this? And now that we're further along on all those verticals, I just ask people to show up.
Yeah.
Right. They asked me, how could I help you? I was like, just use Owwll. It's really that simple. You have 0 calls. I was like, I would love to see that you had 10 calls and 20 messages. Right. That's how you could support me by coming on my podcast, like that's supporting you, right? We have distribution. You're right. If you come to the Shrimp Tank
Yeah.
and you're in front of 40 students, and then you go to Kevin Cox's class after to speak to those students, to be fair, that's more their benefit. Yes, we could have a very big CEO and help us, like Celsius, come our show, and then everyone's like, "Oh, you had the CEO of Celsius on." But most of the time, I find it always interesting that people just don't lead with giving first.
No.
And that's
No.
what hits my heart, is when people give first and truly are authentic.
Absolutely.
I'll go out of my way so much for them. Everyone's like, how do I get in touch with you? How do I do this and that? And it's like, it's actually the easiest thing in the world. Just be a giver.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh, yeah.
show up
Totally.
asking right
Yeah.
out of the bat when you don't know me, or you know me a little bit. It's just like,
It's a
go ahead
novice
and give.
move. It's such a novice move. Like, you want to provide as much value as possible
Yes.
before you ask for anything.
Okay, it's the end of the show, Sal.
I love it.
You take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been wonderful being here with Maryn, Dr. Cox, who left abruptly, but he had to be at class, and James Korman, who's here for the third time. It's really been great. Thank you so much for being on here. Please download the Owwll app. And of course, we look forward to seeing you next month on Funding Fridays. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Have a
Take
great weekend.
care.
Happy
Guys.
Super Bowl.